Today, I'm watching the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 23. The previous episode was about this little boy who loses his grandma, gets this toy telephone for his birthday, and then uses the phone to be able to connect with his grandma on the other side. It was a bit of a darker episode with some very intense, themes of grief and this little boy trying to process everything, talking to his grandma on the other side. So yeah, I was kind of hoping for more of a twist with that episode, but it was still a really strong performances from everybody. This episode, we know from Rod Serling that it's about this wagon trail across the Great Plains that ends up going to the future. So very excited to see this. I love sci-fi, I love time travel, and we haven't had a lot of in the future. It's mostly been in the past. So very curious to see where we're going to go in this episode. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to see exclusive content from this episode, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. It still amazes me to this day that this is how people traveled and spent days and days in these wagons. Like, it's incredible. How anyone made it, I have no idea. I'm definitely not tough enough for any of this.
We're sick. We figure if we don't do it now, we're gonna die out here.
If you try to go the 1,500 miles back to St. Louis.
Oh my gosh, that's so far.
Bleached on some desert. Or lose your scalps. Or freeze in a mountain pass.
Yeah, so many things out there that could kill you.
The divining rod?
I don't know, but I'll find water.
And food, Chris? And medicine for your own child?
Oh my gosh, this poor little boy.
You might look for some shady spot. A pretty spot where we might...
We'll not talk about burying her.
Oh, that's so sad.
Maybe there's a stream or game or something. You never can tell.
Never can tell, Chris.
Yeah, and just like miles and miles of nothing, and like there's no map, like that would show these things. Obviously, it was all uncharted territory and
Fresh air. And at this moment, almost a year later, they've seen nothing but cold, heat, exhaustion, hunger, and sickness.
yeah, that's a long trip. No kidding. Oh my gosh.
It's going over the top of a rim to look for water and sustenance. And in a moment, we'll move into the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, there's the power lines. It's reminding me of that previous episode. Actually, that might be the exact same shot even of when they thought they had crash landed on another planet, but it turned out to be, I think, also New Mexico or maybe Nevada, if I'm remembering correctly.
Martha!
And yeah, how do you explain in 1987, would he even know that they're power lines? And of course they're not there. Oh my gosh.
Where did they go?
And filming on location like this, like in the actual desert, just adds so much to the story because it feels so much more real. It's not in a studio somewhere. That's the time travel sound. And I like that shot of just having him in this all black walking down like the white sand of the desert as well. Just like that perfectly, symmetrical frame. Yeah, and even pavement. Like, what's he gonna do if a car goes by? Like, obviously they're not using horses and wagons anymore. I'm gonna guess he's in 1960. I don't know. We haven't really seen them go into like the 80s or anything yet, or like past that. Yeah, here's a car. Woo! There's like a harp sounds are so intense. He's like, what's a gas station? Like, you'd have so many questions. Like, again, I'm gonna guess it's 1960, like present day when this would have come out, because it looks, very similar.
You mean the truck? The truck? Are you all right?
Yeah, and to see him, like, learn about all these things that people have had for years now.
Yeah, well, why don't you come on inside for a while, huh?
At least this guy seems nice. He's kind of just like, I don't really know what you're saying, but...
You let Mary Lou take a look at it. She used to be a nurse's aide. Mary Lou's my wife.
Yeah, and like how strange it would be in this new place, and like all of these things would be so foreign to you.
Sit down. My glass of water.
He's such a good job of him just being like, you know, questioning everything, because everything would be so strange to you.
Oblige.
Well, now, there's an old timer.
He's obviously very like, I've seen a thing or two, I'm not giving this up very easy. Yeah.
Well, at least he's not hostile ones, huh?
And like he knows something's off, but like can't quite process it.
And then we bought this place here, and
The jukebox, yeah. And the calendar behind him, and it shows the Pioneer Trail. Oh my gosh, is he gonna put two and two together?
this is a jukebox.
He's like, my world is exploding. It's reminded me of a little bit of a previous Twilight Zone episode as well, where he was like discovering the TV and again a jukebox, and was very like aggressive. And this guy seems to be more like overwhelmed. Yeah, he's gonna 1961. Okay, that's what I thought they were going with the 60s. Yep.
I guess so.
Here, you take two of these and drink some water with it.
He's like, I have never seen these before in my life. What is going on? Like, so many questions.
Penicillin. It'll keep away any infection.
He's like, whoa, 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 lady, you're speaking a new language.
You say this is good for a sickness?
Well, sometimes, depending on...
Oh, his little boy. Oh, my heart. Yeah, penicillin would probably help.
I looked around and What is that? What is that?
Yeah, of course that had to be the theme of the calendar, and he's gonna figure out where he is.
When it's 1847.
Almost 100 years. Like, that's, I think, one of the biggest time jumps we've had. Other than the dinosaurs on the plane. But, like, for a human to go and experience that world.
Where is this place? Where am I?
He just seems so scared. Oh, this poor guy. He's gotta get back.
Well, Doc, what do you think?
You've had some bourbon, Mary Lou. I prefer that at the moment. He can trace his imaginary life a whole lot clearer than any of us can our own.
So?
His seeming recall is amazing.
But what does that mean?
Yeah, he doesn't seem confused. He just doesn't know why he's here.
Two of them. No modern-day dentist ever drilled him. And you saw his gun, Joe.
Yeah, they said it's an antique. Yeah.
Well, I sure don't understand it.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's very interesting that they, you know, call this doctor, and he's trying to... He doesn't sound like he doesn't disbelieve him, which I appreciate, because a lot of times it's like, this guy's crazy. And he's actually, like, entertaining it. Oh, no.
Precisely what I'm doing now. I'm getting the authorities in here to take care of him.
Well, there goes that. Dang it.
There's a man here who needs looking after.
My son.
Get out of there, buddy. Get out of there. They're gonna call the cops.
Encyclopedia. Horn, Christian Jr., M.D.
His son becomes a doctor? Oh, my gosh.
Barbara, California, 1914.
So they obviously make it to California. Oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps.
I may be crazy, or the world may be turned upside down, but I know that I've been put here for a reason.
That's so cool. And he's gonna bring penicillin back to his son. Yeah, they said his education was in early medicine.
But I have not the time to wait and find out.
Oh, please.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you gotta get out of there. Yeah. Oh, he's gotta make it back to his son. And that's so crazy to have in the book like that. Run, run. Oh my gosh. I know from the book he makes it, but I'm still so anxious that he's not gonna make it. Ah! Oh my gosh, of course they're just gonna drive up there. Run, run! on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, forget the gun. Yeah. They're so close. Just gotta make it over the ridge. He's like, bye! You'll never take me alive now! Haha. But won't the police go back in time? I'm not gonna. No, we're not doing that. Hurry up! You gotta get your kid. Come on, come on. And that now he knows, he might not remember the date, but now he knows the year that his son's gonna die as well. That'd be such a weird feeling as a parent.
Well, all this time.
Oh, what time? Chris, honey, you just left a few seconds ago.
Yeah, and how the time changed. Like, he was over there for, like, let's say a couple hours, only a few seconds.
Trip, Chris. Nothing much on the other side, was there? You'll be surprised, Charlie.
Yeah, he's like, I got something to tell you.
This is Horn's rifle.
What?
I picked it up just where he dropped it. And look at it, just look at it.
Now it looks 100 years old and is falling apart. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Who was he? Where did he come from?
And if they have the son's name in the book, I wonder if they could, like, follow up on it or anything. Maybe it's just being nosy now, but that's curious.
A whole lot. Get here!
And yeah, he obviously has a new, perspective on the future. So that was my first time watching The Twilight Zone, Season 2, Episode 23. I really liked this episode. It felt like a classic Twilight Zone episode, and to see Chris go into the future and 100 years, plus in the future from 1847 to 1961, and obviously a lot of things had changed in that 100 years, and he's just... I liked his approach of being more curious and definitely a little overwhelmed, I think, as well, but not aggressive like we'd seen previous people from the 1800s come to the future and just freak out at a jukebox and, punching a TV and, just having a very, I don't understand and I'm angry response. And Chris's response, I think, was, very overwhelmed. And then, to see him even get the penicillin and, he's like, oh, this could help. And, his goal has definitely been to go back to his family. And then when he gets the penicillin, realizing that this could help his family and what that means, and obviously this wasn't around in his time, or he didn't have access to it at the very least, and the jukebox and all the diner and the gas station and all of these things, the power lines. And I definitely do feel like it was the same power line shot we had when we had the episode. The crew thought they had landed on another planet, but they had landed in New Mexico or Nevada, sorry. And yeah, it definitely felt very similar, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I understand they're going to reuse shots and reuse locations, and I definitely do feel like the location was a character in this episode because first of all, the desert alone is insane. That's such a, that is not a forgiving place to be trying to survive. And to know that they've been on this wagon trail, again, from history, this was an arduous journey. This was not something for the faint-hearted, and, almost a year, and they're so close. We know that New Mexico is close to California, so the fact that he's so close to making it, and they're, on the very brink of turning around and going back, and I couldn't imagine what that would be like to realize later on that you were one state away from being in California and you went all the way back to Ohio, and just the risks involved. But yeah, the location obviously played a big part of that, and they weren't in a city where Chris could just run out to the store and get medicine or see a doctor or anything like that. They are very desolate. They're very much isolated and on their own, and that's what fuels Chris to try and go look for water, and ends up obviously going into the future. And then to see him in the location of this new place as well, it's the same, he just goes over the ridge and down the hill, and it's a completely different world. And I do like that we got a little bit a longer time in the future as well, with it being, over the 100 years. I'm still, kind of waiting for them to show the 80s or the 90s. I would love to see something like that. What people in the 60s thought the 80s or 90s would be, or even the 2000s. We haven't crossed that line yet, so anytime we've gone into the future, it's because we've gone into the past, and then the future ends up being, present day 1961, and having that calendar on the wall, with the wagons and the picture, the pioneer days. I was like, he's gonna, look at that and realize that that's him, and that's, his family. And again, his response was more confusion and having questions, and yeah, it just felt like a very realistic response to being sent to the future. And It was nice to see him, although he was very reluctant, I think, to receive help at first, to see Joe and his wife, offer water and, like, they help with his hand and get him the medicine. And then I was literally just saying, like, oh, it's nice that they, believe him. And then 2 seconds later, the doctor's on the phone calling the police. And I was like, oh, here we go. Like, it's always such that back and forth we've seen in so many episodes where this guy is, our character is fully convinced this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm experiencing, and nobody believes them. And of course, that rang true in this episode as well. And I liked how it was Chris's son's story that we find, because I was like, oh, when he comes out with the book, I thought at first he was going to see his own name, which his son is named after him, but it's his son's story that goes down in these history books, as being this groundbreaking doctor who obviously his dad needed to go to the future to find penicillin to bring it back to the past. And I love how they play with that time of, he needs to go to the future to alter the past. And even Chris's approach when he comes back, he's so much more confident. He's seen the future. He has that reassurance of, yes, we're gonna make it. Everything else had been so undetermined, so many unknowns. They didn't even know if they were gonna make it. And now to see, that textbook saying his son dies in Santa Barbara in California, and even that one piece being like, okay, we do make it to California, I think would have been a huge relief. And knowing that his son goes on to be this, successful doctor. And again, obviously, the dad playing a big part of that, bringing back penicillin and able to save his son so that his son can live to do these things. Yeah, I just love time travel and, how the past and the future affect each other in that way. And again, we see that in the present. He's been in the diner for, 2 or 3 hours, but in the past, he's only been gone for a couple of seconds, and he now knows where the water is, so he can bring them to the water. But yeah, just to see him take that, that kind of sigh of relief, like, okay, my son's gonna live, we're gonna make it. And, he's like, people like us, he's met the people at the diner. He, obviously sees a little bit of himself in there and realizes that people like him are the ones that build the foundations for what, future generations would have. And again, I think that just fuels his, energy. And after such a long trip, they definitely felt like they were, on their last nerve. They weren't doing well, and this kind of just reinvigorated them to keep going. That chase scene up the sand and into the desert, as we know, he's just about to cross the top of the ridge. And even though we know from the book that he's going to make it and he's going to go back, it still felt so intense. I was like, what if the police do catch up with him? Like, is that passage going to be erased from the book? Like, what's going to happen? Are the police just going to put him in a jail cell for the rest of his life, and his family's never going to see him again? Like, yeah, it still felt very intense, even though again we knew that he was most likely going to make it. And just to see him cross over, just a couple steps ahead of the police, and to see his family looking, the wagon trail was there just as he had left them. I imagine Chris is going to have some pretty good, stories and conversations to have with his peer group. There was 2 or 3 wagons with them about all the things that he's seen in the future, and whether or not they believe him. I think obviously Chris experiencing it, he can believe it enough for himself. And again, the peace of mind he must have, going forward on this journey and for the future of his family. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It definitely felt more like a classic, Twilight Zone episode. And we didn't get a next time on the Twilight Zone, so I have no idea what the next episode is about. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Yeah, so many things out there that could kill you. That's the time travel sound. Yeah, and even pavement. Like, what's he gonna do if a car goes by? Like, obviously they're not using horses and wagons anymore. The calendar behind him, and it shows the Pioneer Trail. Oh my gosh, is he gonna put 2 and 2 together? Now it looks 100 years old and is falling apart.